Milito. He was very self-critical in the post-match press conference after the game against Tigres. And we're going to listen to the Chivas coach talk about some points where he admits his team was lacking. What do you think the team was missing? Put it down in the comments and let's talk about it next. I'm Jesus Bernal and I thank all of you for your attention. Thank you so much for being here with me to talk about the latest regarding Chivas. Do you want to join my private Telegram community? Click the link below in the pinned comment. That's all you need to do. You just click and you'll automatically join my private Telegram community. So without further ado, let's start this video with the latest news about Chivas. Alright then, Milito. He was extremely self-critical in yesterday's press conference, and I imagine that just like many fans, the result, and not just the result, but also how his team performed, didn't leave him satisfied at all. Chivas turned in a very weak, very poor performance. What did Milito say? Why is he here? Feeling? Well, let's listen to Chivas coach himself, who does some soul searching.
That's why I talk about the start of the first half and the start of the second half, which weren't good for us. We did manage, around the middle of the first half, to improve and dominate Tigres. That's how the equalizer came. We kept going in that direction, having a good feeling. At least to reach halftime with a tie. But anyway, we went in down 2-1, and the idea was to try to force a lot more attacks in the second half. Obviously, we had to control their offensive power and their play a lot because they have a lot of quality. But of course, going down 3-1 immediately hit us. Beyond that, the team tried, we went for it. But between the rush to close the gap and the opponent's good positioning, we weren't as sharp. We lacked ball movement, we needed to finish better, and in some of those turnovers we had, they counterattacked us. Although we didn't have, or the opponent didn't have as much control in the second half or as many chances, they did have control of the match because of the 3-1 scoreline. And well, obviously in the end, the result, the goals in a match end up being decisive.
Milito himself, besides this situation, talks about what Chivas should learn from this match. It's clear that, as I was saying, the result wasn't what we expected, it's not what we wanted or were looking for in this match. But in the end, the only thing left to do is to learn from this, and for Oso to return the balls properly, and for Luis Romo not to try a nutmeg when he's coming out. And, well, I mean Campillo. Better in one-on-ones, it's all about learning.
Rather, teams try to win, all teams try to play good soccer, because I think that's the best way or the way that gets you closer to winning. There are countless ways to understand this sport, which is where preferences and convictions come in. Thank you. But well, in the end, only one team ends up winning. But just because one team wins, it doesn't mean the work done by the other teams should be looked down upon, right? We are on a good path. The team is on a good path with some setbacks that we wish we didn't have. But it's also not normal to be able to win absolutely every match because the opponents play too. The opponents are good too, and they have the same ambitions as we do. Therefore, looking ahead, to learn, definitely to learn from some things, and strengthen ourselves through mistakes strengthen ourselves, turn them into something positive, and improve. Improve. Soccer is always about getting better, right? And in every match, even when you win, there are mistakes that are made and reviewed. And in defeat, there are also positive takeaways or areas to keep building on. And there are other aspects we need to review in order to improve. Competition ultimately helps you grow by learning from both success and mistakes. Well, I hope from now on to have many more successes than mistakes, so I can be closer to winning.
And well, the Chivas coach wrapped up, let's say, in this conference with a topic that he didn't like that much, right? They asked him about the effort, and I agree with the coach there. I mean, effort wasn't the problem. I mean, it's clear to me that many of them made an effort so the team could get the result they needed, which in the end they couldn't, but the effort was always there.
The effort. No, the effort. Sorry for the interruption. But I see that usually when you lose, people talk about effort. They talk about lack of attitude or things like that. And if there's one thing this team doesn't lack, it's effort. If there's one thing it doesn't lack, it's attitude. Yes, we need to correct some points, some details that are decisive in the match, like conceding to make it 2-1 at the end of the first half, kicked off, then conceded to make it 3-1 just 30 seconds in. Or, for example, the match against Cruz Azul, where we were the better team, but we lost practically in the last play on a set piece.
Well, just to wrap up, I just want to remind you that the Chivas team will face Puebla next week. There are only 3 matches left. Next Saturday against Puebla, in 10 days in Aguascalientes against Necaxa, and the tournament ends at home against Tijuana. Those are the 3 matches that Guadalajara has left in this 2026 Clausura tournament. Alright, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much for your attention. Keep subscribing, commenting, sharing, and liking, and I'll see you next time. I'm Jesus Bernal. Goodbye.